Previously, I showed you how you can create a block reference by right-clicking on the block that you want to reference and by selecting this top option here from the menu. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing it that way, but in this lesson, I want to show you three other techniques for achieving the same result, three other ways to create block references that I find more efficient. I would encourage you to practice all of these. I use each of them on a regular basis, depending on exactly what it is I am trying to do in my graph. So method number one that I want to show you here in this lesson is you'll notice that just to the right of this copy block reference here is Command Shift C. So they're showing you a keyboard shortcut. This may look different, by the way, if you're on a Windows machine. I'm on a Mac, so Command Shift C. I believe on Windows it's going to be Control Shift C. In any event, what I'm going to do is place my cursor here on this line, and I'll hit that combination of keys. Once again, Command Shift and C. That's going to copy that block reference to my clipboard. I'll come over here, I'll hit return, enter, and then I'm going to hit Command V for paste. And there you go. Boom, just like that, I've got a block reference placed. If I move my cursor away from that line, you'll see the block reference there. So I've mentioned this before, I'll mention it again. I'm generally a very big fan of keyboard shortcuts. This is a technique that I probably use more than any other in my graph. So I would encourage you to, again, practice this one and get used to doing it that way. That's method number one. Method number two is a method called option drag. So if I come over here to the block I want to reference, I'm going to hold down the option key on my keyboard and simply click and drag and then let go. And you'll notice that also creates a block reference here. So if I put my cursor there, you'll see that alphanumeric string. If I move it up, you'll see the same string. So I just want to emphasize here, I have achieved exactly the same result, two different ways of doing that. So again, that second method I just showed you was to simply hold down the option key and then drag the block into where you want to do it. This is a method I use a lot when I have pages open side by side, like I do here. This is a very quick and effective method to move information around. So I use this one a lot as well. And then the third method I don't use as much. I'll talk about the reasons why in just a moment. But just so you know, I'm going to hit return here. And if you'll recall from a previous lesson when we talked about creating page references, I showed you that you could hit the double bracket key and bring up this search bar and start typing a page name, and it would auto suggest, and you could then select it. Similarly, here with block references, what I can do is hit the parentheses key twice, and you'll notice that brings up this window that says search for a block. So now I'm going to simply start typing. There are over 200 moons in our solar system, and if I select here, it will do the exact same thing. So again, I have now showed you three different methods here in this lesson for creating block references. The one thing I want to mention about this auto suggest method is that it gets a little bit limited in my experience, particularly as your knowledge graph grows. It really relies on you knowing what the wording is in that particular block that you're looking for. And when you're working with a small graph like this, where there's not a ton of information, that can be fairly easy to do. But as your knowledge graph grows and you start typing this auto suggest here, can get pretty unruly. It's going to bring up a ton of different results. And so it can get a little bit difficult. So I don't use this method as much, but it is a good one to be aware of, and your mileage may vary. So again, I hope these techniques are helpful. These are all different ways of achieving the same result. Experiment and find which one works best for you. And I think you'll find that some of them work better in different scenarios.